There's something most people don't realize about their own minds: the thoughts they repeat, the beliefs they reinforce, the identity they hold onto. It all shapes their reality, whether they're aware of it or not. The world you see isn't just happening to you. You're creating it every single day through the way you think. But here's the problem. Most people aren't thinking for themselves. They believe they are, but in reality, their minds are being shaped by everything around them: social media, news, entertainment, opinions from people they've never even met. And the scariest part? It happens so subtly that they don't even notice. Every time you scroll, you are being fed thoughts. Not just information, but entire ways of thinking. Algorithms are designed to keep people engaged, not to make them aware. They know exactly what will trigger you, what will make you emotional, what will keep you hooked. And the more time you spend consuming certain types of content, the more your mind starts absorbing those ideas as reality. Think about it. If every day you see content that reinforces fear, division, and negativity, it's only a matter of time before your mind starts to reflect that same energy. If you constantly watch people living extravagant, perfect-looking lives, you'll start to feel like yours isn't enough. If all you see are opinions telling you what to think, you'll mistake those opinions for your own thoughts. Most people don't realize that their mental world is not their own. It's a product of everything they've been feeding it. And just like with food, if you consume nothing but processed junk, your body weakens. If you consume nothing but mental junk, your mind does the same. But this goes deeper than just social media is bad. It's not that simple. The internet has given us access to every perspective imaginable. It has connected minds across the world. It has made knowledge more accessible than ever. But there's a dark side. It doesn't just give you information. It gives you a lens through which you see the world. And most people never question whether that lens is actually theirs. The moment you stop questioning what you consume, it starts thinking for you. And this is exactly why most people never truly find themselves. Because instead of looking inward, instead of allowing their own thoughts to form, they spend their lives reacting, absorbing ideas, responding to opinions, arguing over things they've been conditioned to care about. Their minds are in a constant state of input, never pausing long enough to process what's actually true for them. This is why people feel lost. Not because they are incapable of self-discovery, but because they've never had a moment of silence long enough to hear their own mind. And the more you allow external noise to dominate your thoughts, the more you reinforce a version of yourself that is not truly yours. The things you believe about yourself, the way you see the world, the way you react to situations, it's all shaped by what you focus on. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'll never change," your mind will filter out any evidence that proves otherwise. If you believe, "I'm unlucky, nothing good ever happens to me," your mind will focus on everything that reinforces that belief. The brain is wired to look for confirmation. It seeks out whatever aligns with the thoughts you repeat the most. So if you've spent years thinking you're not enough, that's the reality your mind will build for you. Not because it's true, but because you've trained it to believe that. Once you realize that your thoughts are shaping your life, you can stop being a passive participant. You can start choosing which thoughts you allow to stay and which ones you let go of. You can begin to reclaim control over your mental space. And this is where most people hesitate, because the moment you take responsibility for your thoughts, you can no longer blame the world for your reality. The truth is, most people would rather stay in the comfort of their old mindset than do the work to change it. But those who do the work, those who become conscious of their own mind, are the ones who break free from the illusion. And that is where everything changes. Once you realize that your thoughts have shaped your reality, the next question is, how do you change them? Most people assume that shifting their mindset is as simple as thinking positive. But that's not how the mind works. You don't just change thoughts by wishing them away. You change them by breaking the loop that keeps them alive. The first step is to become aware of the thoughts that control you the most. Not the random ones that come and go, but the ones that play on repeat. The quiet, automatic beliefs that shape your actions. Because the truth is, your thoughts aren't just words in your mind. They dictate how you feel, how you behave, and ultimately, the life you create. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain doesn't care if a thought is true or not. It only cares about repetition. If you tell yourself the same thing over and over again, your mind will accept it as reality. If you keep saying, "I'm not good enough," your brain doesn't fact-check it. It just reinforces that belief every time you repeat it. This is why so many people stay stuck in the same patterns, because they reaffirm the same identity every single day. They wake up and immediately fall into the same thought loops. They scroll social media and compare themselves, reinforcing the belief that they're behind in life. They react to negativity, reinforcing the belief that the world is against them. They avoid challenges, reinforcing the belief that they're not capable. So how do you break the loop? The answer is not to force positive thinking, but to disrupt the automatic thinking patterns that keep you stuck. One of the most powerful ways to do this is mental interruption. When you catch yourself repeating an old belief, you don't try to erase it, you simply pause. Instead of letting the thought continue as usual, you call it out. Is this thought even true? Would I still believe this if I hadn't been told it my whole life? Who benefits from me thinking this way? At first, this feels unnatural. Your brain is used to following the same pathways over and over. But every time you interrupt the pattern, you weaken it. You create a gap where something new can take its place. This is where intentional thinking comes in. Most people think on autopilot, but those who shape their reality think with purpose. Instead of waiting for the mind to default to old patterns, they choose which thoughts to entertain. And this isn't about forcing yourself to think unrealistically. It's about becoming intentional with the ideas you allow to live in your mind. Because whatever you focus on the most, that is what expands. But here's where resistance kicks in. When you start shifting your thoughts, your mind fights back. It will tell you that you're lying to yourself, that you've always been this way. That change isn't possible, and this is where most people quit. Because the truth is, your mind is wired to protect the identity you've always had. Even if that identity is limiting, it feels safe, it's familiar. And anything unfamiliar feels like a threat. But if you push past this stage, something changes. You start to notice that you no longer react the same way to negativity, that you stop engaging in thoughts that used to bring you down, that instead of absorbing external influences mindlessly, you start filtering them. And that's the key. You become the gatekeeper of your mind. Instead of consuming everything without question, you start asking, is this thought serving me? Is this belief shaping my future in a way I want? If I keep thinking this way for the next 5 years, where will I end up? And once you start thinking like this, you can never go back, because you see the game for what it is. You are either creating your reality, or you are letting someone else do it for you.